Well, a very, very happy Monday morning and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Oh, man, it's nice to be with you here on this Monday. I know our Padres had a rough weekend, and we're going to get into that. We're going to dissect it from top to bottom, but wanted to share my weekend with you a little bit. And man, I was busy. I went to a college baseball game on Friday night down at UC San Diego. They had a good ball club. Eric Newman done a really nice job with the Tritons. In fact, 2 years ago in 2023, they won the Big West Championship. Not bad for a team a lot like Eric Olin's basketball program, making that transition from Division II to Division I, and they're having a pretty good year. They had a good weekend. They took 2 out of 3 from UC Santa Barbara. But on Friday night, I went down there and I really didn't know what I was walking into as far as pitching matchups, and it was a great pitching matchup. Tyler Bremner, a young man from Scripps Ranch High School, one of the very, very top pitchers in the country, was pitching that night for Santa Barbara, and a really nice right-hander for UC San Diego, Matthew Dahlquist, who threw a really good ball game, ended up getting the win Friday night, dueled Bremner, and there were a lot of scouts there. And in fact, there were a lot of bigwigs there. Mike Rizzo, the head of baseball operations, the Washington Nationals, who drafted and signed Steven Strasburg, he was there. A bunch of ball clubs were there. And I reconnected with a guy you guys know very well because he had some good years in a Padre uniform, and that's Chris Young from the Texas Rangers, the head of baseball operations. He was at the game, had a great talk with him, and it was really fun to catch up with Chris. He was always a good guy to cover when he was pitching for the Padres, and I was doing the pre and post game show. Always had a great relationship with him and hadn't seen him in over a decade. And so we had a nice little chat and a good win by UC San Diego on Friday night, 6-4. They got beat on Saturday, and then they came back and won yesterday, taking 2 out of 3 and trying to get themselves into the Big West tournament that'll be played in May, starting on May 21st. So that was Friday night. So then Saturday, I had a big day. My granddaughter was pitching, and she pitched great. 9 strikeouts and 3 innings, did a really good job. And they got beat in their game. She pitched 3 innings and they got beat, but that's all right. She pitched great. And so the season was over. But then in the afternoon, we went back up to Lake Drive, and she was given an award called the Wolford Award for leadership and being a great teammate and all that good stuff. So that was really exciting. Always encourage my grandkids to be leaders and be great teammates. You got to be a great teammate. So that was on Saturday, and then last night, Steve Quiz and I on the Indoor Football League Network that you can get on YouTube. You got to subscribe, but we called the game between the San Diego Strike Force and the Tucson Sugar Skulls, and a great win by San Diego, 44-22. They even their record at 2-2. And the thing that was really encouraging for me is they had a really nice crowd, and they're trying to build their fan base up after moving from Pechanga Arena up to the new Front Wave Arena, trying to build the fan base. And last night was a great crowd, and I think everybody that came had a great time. Steve and I, we had a lot of fun calling the games. We've been calling the games since 2019, so I had a very, very big sports weekend. Now that was just what I did outside the house. But, I watched the Padre game. Friday night, I taped it, and which I don't normally do. But I taped it, watched it Saturday in between the softball game, the award ceremony. And then yesterday, we had a late football game. So I watched the baseball game in its entirety along with the Lakers game. Oh, man, my Lakers. I don't think they're going to make it. They're down 3-1. They play Wednesday night back in LA, but man, they had a golden opportunity to win yesterday and just couldn't get it done. Just couldn't get it done. So looks like it's going to be a long off season for the Lakers. You know that in NBA history, when a team goes down 3 games to 1, they have about a 5% chance of coming back, and I just don't see it. I just don't see it with the Lakers, and man, just a little irritated about that. But I want to remind everyone, if you're tuning in for the first time, please subscribe. Please like the channel. Send in your questions. We always enjoy those. We're going to get to our coach's mailbag. And if you're out there, and I would think a lot of you, have a lot of questions and comments about this weekend. It was not a good weekend of baseball. The Padres did not play well defensively. They didn't play well offensively. They were 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position against Tampa Bay. And just, man, dropped 8 of 11. Oof. Lost 4 in a row. They can't score runs. I mean, it's unbelievable. But, you go back to Friday night. And again, I got to start with you fans. You fans have been incredible. Uh, all three games were sold out. They've got 14 sellouts so far. 43,319 on Friday night game, 2 hours and 27 minutes. Padres get beat 1-0. Yandy Diaz hits that sac fly in the third inning. And that was all she wrote. Padres left 5 runners on. They were 0 for 3. Michael King pitched well, 5 innings, 4 hits, a run. It was unearned. Bogart's making that low throw to first base. 1 walk for King, 9 punch outs, did a hell of a job. Bullpen was solid. In fact, Friday night, the Padre staff, King had 9 strikeouts, and you give the relievers what they had. They had 17 strikeouts on Friday night and get beat 1-0. Wow. And Shane Baz, 7 innings, 4 hits, a walk, a hit batter, 6 strikeouts, improved to 3-0 and dropped his ERA down to 2.45. I'll tell you one thing, that bullpen of Tampa Bay is pretty damn good. But Padres look anemic, and I flat out mean anemic at the plate. The only guy that's really hitting is Fernando. I mean, Fernando had a good weekend offensively. And how about that throw yesterday? Oh my God, that throw from right field nailed the runner at home plate. There was in the 7th inning. What that was a big time throw. That was on all the highlight shows last night, both locally and nationally. So they get beat on Friday night 1-0. And I look up and down. Fernando 2 for 4. He had his second double of the year. Everybody else pretty much crickets. Terso Ornelas 1 for 3, his first major league hit. That's all he's got right now. He's hitting under 100. Tyler Wade's kind of hanging in there. He had a 1 hit game Friday night. But again, Padres get out hit 6-5. They make 1 critical error, and they get beat 1-0. That was a tough one to swallow, to be honest with you, coming off of that shutout in the final game of that series in Detroit. Then Saturday, another incredible crowd, 44,768. A lengthy ball game, 2 hours and 54 minutes. I say lengthy because nowadays these games are getting over in 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 35 minutes. Very seldom are we having 3 hour plus ball games like we had a few years ago. Tampa Bay wins it 4-1. Dylan Cease, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, gave up a home run. Bullpen, once again, does a good job. Jason Adam got nicked for a run in his inning of work, but again, the bullpen doing a good job. And Ryan Pepio, the former Dodger, picked up his second win of the year. He went 6 innings, giving up 3 hits and a run, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And offensively in that ball game, Fernando 2 for 4, a double, an RBI. Had that nice RBI single to center in the 6th inning. Everybody else, Manny 1 for 4. And by the way, I know Manny had a sac fly to drive in a run on Sunday. He doesn't look very good at the plate. He looks lost right now. Tyler Wade 2 for 2, a walk. He had his first double of the year, his first triple. And that was really about the Padre offense. They were out hit on Saturday night 9-5, and they committed 2 more errors. That one goofy pop up that Iglesias got in the way of Bogarts, and they gave Bogarts the error. That was kind of unfortunate. That should have been Bogarts' ball, but nonetheless, Padres lose 4-1 on Saturday night, and then yesterday, Sunday, Tampa Bay wins it 4-2. They sweep the 3-game series. Padres, as I mentioned, lost 4 straight, 8 of 11. Randy Vasquez wasn't great yesterday, but he wasn't awful either. 4 2/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, couple of walks, a strikeout. Did hit a batter, did give up a home run in the ball game. And once again, the bullpen good. 3 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, doing a nice job. Zach Littell picked up his first one of the year, 1-5. And the guy, even with a great effort yesterday of going 5 innings and giving up only 2 earned runs, ZRA still 5.03. Padres have to beat guys like that. And I know Zach Littell's been around the big leagues for a long time, but you got to beat guys like that. He comes in with an 0-5 record and an ERA of over 5. You got to find a way to beat that guy. Yesterday, Fernando, 1 for 3, a walk, a run scored. Gavin Sheets, Not swinging the bat well. 1 for 4 yesterday. 2 more strikeouts. Bogarts had a hit. Oscar Gonzalez had a hit. Iglesias had a hit, and that was it. Padres out hit yesterday 10-5. 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They didn't commit any errors yesterday, which was good. But I want to talk about Dylan Cease. Got to get this guy on track. I mean, I thought his prior start, he was making progress, but he definitely took a couple of steps backwards on Saturday night. And again, his numbers Saturday night: 4 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, home run to Brandon Lau. And on the season, Dylan Cease now 6 starts, 1-2 with a 5.76. I mean, the numbers are not kind to Dylan Cease. 29 2/3 innings so far, 36 hits, 21 runs, 19 of them earned, 12 walks, 1 intentional walk, 36 strikeouts, 3 homers, a whip of 1.62. And you take a look at what he did last season: 14-11 and a 3.47 ERA. What am I seeing with Dylan Cease? And I'd ask you, what are you seeing with Dylan Cease? Well, what I'm seeing right now is a guy that's going out there a little bit frustrated, and he's not sure he's going to have his stuff. And one thing about Dylan, opposed to Michael King, you never know if he's pitching well or not pitching well. Dylan Cease, his body language tells you right from the get-go where he's at. And I think right now he is searching. He's trying to find it. This guy's got a lot of pressure on him. And a lot of it's he's put on himself. He's going to be a free agent. He's looking at a big contract. And right now, he's not performing very, very well. Now, there's always going to be ball clubs that think they can fix him. Oh, man, we see this in his delivery, or we see that. He's doing that. Maybe move him over on the mound a little bit, the other side of the rubber. Maybe his stuff will play better. But right now, he's searching. And the Padres, if they're going to go anywhere this year, they got to get this guy right. And right now, he's not even flat out close. He is a thrower, not a pitcher right now. And I've said this before. He got a great slider. He got that knuckle curve. And when that stuff is working, he is flat out nasty. And he can throw, in the upper 90s. But when he gets frustrated, he starts throwing harder and harder and harder, and that ball loses command and it flattens out. And I don't care how hard you throw. Big league hitters are going to hit a fastball. If they can't hit a fastball, they're not going to be in the big leagues very long. You got to be able to hit the fastball. But for Dylan Cease, he's got to work ahead in the count, not working ahead in the count. His put-away pitch hadn't been there consistently. I mean, for a guy of his ability to be 1-2 and a 5.76 ERA, not good. And I would hope in his next start, which will be when they get back out on the road, hopefully, not pitching in front of a packed crowd at Petco Park. Maybe he can relax a little bit. But I don't think so. He's putting a lot of pressure on himself, not only for this year and for the ball club, but every time he goes out, he's being evaluated for free agency. And I would have thought coming into this year, when people are looking at him and Michael King, they're saying, oh, man, these guys are going to be free agents. Now, King did sign that deal for next year, but that's a mutual option. He can very easily get out of that. And the way he's pitching now, I'm sure he will get out of that. Maybe the Padres will continue to try to re-sign him. I don't know what the kind of money he's going to get if he continues to throw like he's throwing right now. I mean, Michael King, I didn't think had a great spring. I didn't think his first couple of outings were great. But, man, he's put it into high gear and pitching great. But I would think Michael King and Dylan Cease would be the two top guys this next offseason in free agency. And Michael King right now is looking at a lot of money. As long as he doesn't get hurt and continues to pitch anywhere close to what he's doing now, he can make a lot of money. Dylan Cease, he should make a lot of money. And I have no doubt at some point in time, he's going to get on track. But the Padres really need for him to get on track now. They can't wait. They got to get him rolling because they're scuffling big time. Randy Vasquez is having his problems. We know about Kyle Hart. He's down in AAA. He'll be back when they get back to a 5-man rotation. Pavetta's been fantastic. And, hopefully Darvish is making progress. You're going to get him back at some point in time. But right now, man, they're reeling. They're reeling big time. But Dylan Cease, man, got to be better. Got to be better. And that's what I'm seeing right now. And we'll see where it goes. And hopefully everything's going to work out and he'll get back on track. Okay, we're going to get to questions here quickly, but I want to get you to the standings, and I'm going to give you the matchup for the Giants series because I'm going to tell you what, the Giants are playing great baseball. National League West, Bob Melvin's ball club, 19-10 right now. 19-10. Good weekend series. They won yesterday. The series over Texas. I don't know if you saw it, but they Texas threw the ball around. Helio Ramos got a little league home run as a walk-off. How about that? They overthrow first, they overthrow third, and he slides in home and wins the ball game and wins the series. They took 2 out of 3 from Boch. Giants at 19-10 right now, won 2 straight. Dodgers, they're starting to put it into high gear. They got shut out on Friday night. Paul Skeens went just under 6 innings, and the Buccos shut him out. And then the Dodgers came back and won the final 2 yesterday, 9-2. Andy Paez starting to swing the bat very well for the Dodgers. He really on a hot streak right now. But they're at 18-10. They play tonight. They start their series against the Marlins tonight. They're a half game back. The Padres sitting at 17-11. Game and a half back, Arizona. They snapped their 4-game losing streak yesterday. They won. They're 15-13, 3.5 back, and then you got the Rockies. My God, 4-23. Oh my God, 14 games back, losers of 6 in a row. Padres off today. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I'm not going. But if there's anybody that gets a second Tony Gwynn rookie bobblehead, will you please send it to me? That's one bobblehead I would love to have. Is a Tony Gwynn rookie season bobblehead. I'd really like that. I don't know if anybody's got, where they're going to get more than one. If you do, send it to the old coach. I'd love to have Tony's bobblehead. Okay. Tomorrow night, great pitching matchup. 6:40. Remember, this is a 2-game series before the Padres go back out on the road. They got the San Francisco Giants, right-hander Logan Webb, 3-1, and a 1.98. Not a guy that's going to strike out a lot of guys. He's a guy that's going to roll a lot of ground balls. And if he's on, the infielders are going to be very, very busy tomorrow night. And then he's going against what really has been the Padres' most consistent pitcher. I mean, I mentioned Michael King and how well he's pitched, but Nick Pivetta is probably outpitched King because he's been going deeper into ball games more times than not. And I know King had the one complete game shutout, but Pivetta from start to where we're at now been fantastic. 4-1 and a 1.20 ERA. Something's going to give tomorrow. Now you got 2 really good major league pitchers that are on a hot streak right now. And then Wednesday afternoon at 1:10, you got right-hander Landon Root 2-1 and a 4.56 going against right-hander Michael King 3-1 in a 218. You got some good pitching matchups in this brief 2-game series. Okay, I want to talk about Bob Melvin. Okay, Bob Melvin has been a manager in the big leagues for a long time. And I think he's a good manager. I thought his time in San Diego was interesting. Let's put it that way. I think it was very interesting from the standpoint he had a great first year. Well, first of all, when they got Bob Melvin, everybody was chest bumping. And I remember I did my show the day of his press conference. I did my show from the press conference, and I had Bob on, and I had AJ Preller on immediately following. And I didn't know Bob Melvin. I had met him one time many, many years ago when I was over in Arizona at spring training, and I was watching Arizona State play Arizona. And Tommy Allison, who now works for the Dodgers, a guy that used to train with my high school team when he was playing pro ball, was working for Arizona. And he's like, "Hey, Coach Kentera, how you doing?" He introduced me to Bob Melvin and Josh Burns. It's the first time I met those guys. And so I didn't know a lot about Bob Melvin. Brad Sesbat, my good friend in Arizona, very close friends with Bob Melvin and had a great relationship with him with the Diamondbacks. So, Bob was great, but I didn't know Bob all that well, and I didn't communicate with him at all. I talked to Bob Melvin. You're going to find this hard to believe. I talked to him twice. I talked to him the day that he got the job and the day after that I got let go at 1090. Bob Melvin sent me a nice message saying, "Man, I love listening to you going to the ballpark every afternoon. You know what you're talking about, and wish you the best." And we've communicated a little bit since then, but never really talked to Bob Melvin. It wasn't like I had the relationship with him that I had with Bruce Bochy and Buddy Black. Um, but Bob Melvin's a good baseball man. And things didn't work out the second year. First year, everybody's excited. I mean, why not? 89 and 73, finished second in the NL West, beat the Mets in the wild card 2-1, beat the Dodgers 3-1. And that was so exciting. Oh my God, that was so exciting. And then they lose the series to Philadelphia 4-1. They come back the next year, a lot of expectations, a full year of Juan Soto, and they didn't get it done. They go 82 and 80 and they miss the playoffs. And we know about all the problems with AJ Preller and Bob Melvin, and they were well documented. And, AJ would never say anything publicly about that, but there were problems. And Bob Melvin did want to come back a year ago, but the Padres didn't want him back. It wasn't like he took the San Francisco job. He wanted to come back to San Diego. But the Padres didn't want him back. And so, after they said they were going to bring him back, then he doesn't come back. And they bring in Mike Shildt and they have a great year. But they don't get to where they need to go. And in Bob Melvin's first year, they got to the NLCS. Last year, Padres got to the NLDS, should have won it, and should have got to the NLCS, but didn't happen. And we'll see where this year goes. But I think Bob Melvin, the biggest problem Bob Melvin had the second year here was having a full year of Juan Soto. Juan Soto was not a great guy. And I'm not saying he was a guy that, mouthed off a lot. It's just the way he went about his business. I don't think he was a great teammate. He never really bought into being a San Diego Padre. He knew he was just kind of here as a hired gun for a year and a half. Padres never, I don't think, were ever really seriously going to sign that guy, no matter what people say. I mean, well, first of all, they're not going to give him $700 million. Are you kidding me? That's not worth it. Our right fielder's a hell of a lot better than Juan Soto. Our right fielder just has to stay on the field. Juan Soto's put up great numbers, and I'm not going to take that away from him, but he's a real pain. And at the end of the day, I've said this before, and I'm not going to divulge everything I know now. If I see you on the street corner and you come up and say, "Hey, coach, tell me about Juan Soto," I'll give you some info, but I'm not going to do it in this forum. But I'll do it privately, but I'm not going to do it publicly. But I'll tell you this: I'm a guy that's a big mental makeup guy, and I don't think Juan Soto has great mental makeup. It's all about him. He's a very selfish baseball player. He's a good hitter, great power hitter, doesn't run well, throws okay, and not a great fielder. We got a right fielder that can pretty much do it all as long as he stays healthy. If I had to pick between Soto and Tatis, there's nothing to pick. I mean, I'd take Tatis 10 out of 10. I don't know about you, but I would. And Juan Soto may end up, being a guy that hits 50 home runs and drives in 150 one year. He got that ability, no question about it. But I don't want to tolerate his nonsense. I really don't. And I don't think the Padre players wanted to tolerate it either. I think there were problems in that clubhouse just because of one player. And then the manager and the general manager were not on the same page. At the end of the day, it was a good partying of the ways. But what I'm trying to tell you, Bob Melvin's a good guy. It didn't work out here in San Diego. I mean, he still had a winning record. And when you go back in Padre lore, there aren't too many managers that have a winning record when their name is associated with the San Diego Padres. And, the second year was disappointing, especially considering what his team was able to get done his first year. But Mike Shildt come in, done a good job, and we'll see where it goes long term. But I had to mention Bob Melvin a little bit because I think a lot of people have, I don't want to say unjustly criticized him, but there were things he was having to deal with in that clubhouse that weren't going to go away. They just weren't going to go away. And when they did go away, it made for a little bit better situation, to say the least. Okay, time for our weekly update. We're going to get out to your questions here very quickly. Our weekly update on Ethan Salas and Leo Vries. Well, I wish I had better news for you on Ethan Salas. Ethan Salas has not played since April 17th. He's got back spasms. He hasn't been placed on the IL yet, but he's got back spasms. That's not good for any ball player, let alone a catcher. And like I said, they haven't put him on the IL, and hopefully he's, getting taken care of, which I'm sure he is, being a top prospect. But again, hadn't played since April 17th, and his numbers right now down there in Double A, San Antonio, 188, no homers, 5 RBIs, and a 544 OPS. Got one double. Remember, he doesn't turn 19 until June 1st. So hopefully next Monday's update on Ethan Salas is going to be a hell of a lot better. Now, Leo Vries last week was hitting 188 when we gave this report. Now he's hitting 258 and 66 at bats. And I mentioned it, I think last Wednesday, because he had a monster game last Tuesday night. He had a cycle. That was back on April 22nd, hit for the cycle, 5 for 5, 2 homers, 8 RBIs. So now he's hitting 258 with 3 dingers, an OPS of 854. He also has 3 doubles, 3 triples. He's walked 7 times, couple of stolen bases, and 15 strikeouts and 66 at bats. But again, he's the youngest player, folks, in the Midwest League. And I'm already seeing people say, oh, man, do you think Leo Vries can be up here by the end of 2026? No. Maybe by the end of 2027, but let's don't push it. Kid's still 18 years old. And like I said, Salas turns 19 on June 1st. If these guys get up here at 21 or 22, I'm okay with that. As long as they're ready. I don't want to force feed these guys and retard their progress. That's part of the problem that's going on in baseball nowadays. They're promoting these guys without putting numbers up and without, playing every day. You got to play every day and get in there and, get your at-bats and get those innings in if you're a pitcher. But these two kids are very, very talented. If you've seen any of them, either one of them, these guys can flat out get it done. Okay, before I get to the injury report, because it's long and lengthy, I want to get out to some of your questions. People write in your questions. We also got a coach's mailbag. We'll start rolling those up. And again, please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to build this. Okay, we're getting to coach's mailbag now. Mariah, what does the team need to do to quickly rebound from the Rays sweep? Well, I think you got 2 outstanding pitchers that are hot right now, Nick Pivetta and Michael King. It starts on the mound. And right now, the Padre offense, until they get Merrill and Cronenworth and a Rise back in the lineup, they're going to scuffle a little bit. Lower part of the lineup not getting the job done, and quite frankly, the top part of the lineup, Machado's not doing a whole lot. Gavin Sheets hadn't been doing a whole lot. The only guy that's really doing any damage at all is Fernando. But it all starts on the mound. Go out there and throw up about 5 goose eggs tomorrow night and find a way to scrap for a couple of runs and turn it over to the bullpen. Bullpen's out of sight. I mean, the bullpen is incredible. I was looking last night after the ball game. I was looking at some of the ERAs. How about some of these ERAs? The guys that pitched yesterday out of the bullpen for the Padres. Morahone, 1.98. Jeremiah Estrada, 1.32. Jason Adam, 0.60, and Bob Suarez gave up his first run of the year yesterday in a non-save situation. His ERA, 0.75. You got the best bullpen in baseball. Well, you got to score some runs. Got to score some runs. But Mariah, I think it starts on the mound. You got to have both Pivetta and King go out there and shut down the Giants. Padres, it'd be huge if the Padres could get both of these games. Don't play for a split. Let's get both these games in your home ballpark. Got to take advantage of that. Thank you very much for that question. Joe, I can't wait for you to be back. Hoping to see a fully healthy team soon. Well, we're going to get to that. Darvish is making progress. He threw another bullpen on Friday night. And I would think maybe tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Wednesday, before the ball club leaves, he'll probably throw another one. But you know what? I think he's getting close to throwing a live BP, maybe a simulated game. He's going to have to go out and throw some, and he's probably down in the minor leagues, I would think, just to kind of get his feel. touch and feel back on his breaking ball. You can throw bullpens all you want, but I think you're going to need to go out and build up some arm strength by pitching a couple of innings down in the minor leagues. But it'd be nice to get him back. And when he comes back, hopefully he can stay healthy. I mean, that's the big one right there. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate that. Steven, what are your expectations for Ryan Bergert? Hey, you know what? I went on Ryan Bergert's parents. They had an X account, and I congratulate him. Ryan Bergert on Saturday night. Let me look at his numbers here real quick. He came in and pitched very well in his major league debut. 1 inning, 1 hit, and had a strikeout. I thought he threw the ball really well the other night. And like I told his mom and dad on the X account, congratulations. And now he's in the register forever. Get that name in that big old like encyclopedia. But Ryan Bergert looked good. And right now, he's going to have to build up his credibility with the manager and the pitching coach, and they're going to not put him in real high leverage situations. More times than not, you're going to see Ryan Bergert right now, unless somebody's down that night. He's probably only going to pitch when the Padres are behind. I don't think they'd even bring him in right now in a tie game. Probably if the Padres are up by 3 or 4 or down by a couple of runs, they may bring him in, but I don't see him in a high leverage situation. But I thought he threw the ball really well. And the biggest thing when you're making your major league debut, and this is from talking to a lot of guys that have pitched in the big leagues, that first game, you're just trying to breathe and you're trying to pick up, in Ryan's case, your left leg to go to home plate. It's very heavy. And I mean, think about it. All the days your mom and dad have driven you to practice and little league and pony league and colt league and summer ball and high school and, maybe college or junior college and then all the years in the minor leagues. And you get out there, the mound's still 60 feet, 6 inches, the plate's 17 inches wide. And man, you're so nervous to throw it. But I thought Ryan Bergert did a really nice job. But Stephen, thank you very much for that question. I appreciate that. I'm glad we mentioned Ryan Bergert. That was a good one. Coach, I think Dylan has some mechanical problems. Steve, I agree with you. I think a couple of things. Number one, he overthrows. And number two, he doesn't get over his front leg well enough. Not getting the great extension. He's throwing a little bit too upright from what I'm seeing. And you're a former pitcher, Steve, and you know what I'm talking about. You got to get over that front leg. And I think more than anything else, it's not maybe using his legs as well. It's more of a waist up motion than using your legs. But hopefully they're able to look at some tape. But more than anything else, he's got to feel it. He's got to feel it. And you know what? He's pitched enough in the big leagues to where he's got to be able to make that adjustment on his own. I mean, Ruben Niebla may lead the league in mound visits. I mean, I can't believe how many times he has to come to the mound. And they're all warranted. It's not like he's coming out just to get some TV time, but he's had to come to the mound quite a bit to try to settle these guys down. And especially in a long inning, you come out just to let the guy catch his breath for a minute. But I agree, there's some mechanical issues there. And I think when he gets frustrated, they only break down even more because he tries to overthrow the baseball. Steve, good to hear from you, buddy. Hope all's well up in the Central Valley. All right, well, let's keep them coming here. All right, the next one. Last season, we traded for a Vries at about this time. I wonder if a rare early season trade for another starting pitcher or left fielder is a possibility. Well, my question on that, what are you going to give up? What do the Padres have that anybody else wants at this point in time? Yeah, you could always send a young arm, from A ball or double A. I'm not giving up Salas and Vries. I can tell you that right now. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, you got to figure it out. You got a good roster. You just got to get some guys healthy. You get Jackson Merrill back. Padres, by the way, are 9-9 since Merrill's been out. You got to get these guys healthy, and we're going to get to that shortly. But at this point in time, I don't know what the Padres have to trade that anybody wants. And, what are we going to get in return? I don't know. I think we're going to have to take a wait and see attitude. We're going to have to take a look. And this is where the wild card can kind of screw up the trade deadline because everybody thinks that they're going to stay in the race. After the All-Star break and you're working towards the trade deadline, everybody thinks they got a chance. So that makes fewer guys available possibly. Guys that are going to be free agents, you can rent a vet, and I'm okay with that as long as you don't give up a top prospect. And until the Padres can get their pitching staff in order and they can get all their guys healthy in their everyday lineup, I don't know where this season's going to go. And the other problem you got the biggest problem, you got San Francisco Giants that weren't supposed to be this good. And they're playing great baseball, and they're not going away. I've watched them. And they also have, from what I understand, they've got some guys down in the minor leagues they can bring up to help on the mound. Padres, I don't think really have that right now. I mean, Stephen Kolek, but he hadn't pitched that well down in AAA. He had a good spring, and I'd throw him on a major league mound. I'd have no problem starting him a game for the Padres if he had to get called up. I wouldn't like, oh my God, Stephen Kolek's got to pitch. I'd be fine with him. He can get some guys out. But the Giants weren't supposed to be this good. Diamondbacks are kind of just floating around right now, a couple of games over 500, but they got a good ball club, and they're going to score a lot of runs. Do you see Eugenio Suarez, who's barely hitting 200, I think? I don't know if he got over 200. The other night, he went 4 for 4. He had 4 home runs, and he's one of those guys I've always said he's a 25 to 30 home run guy. He gets off to these miserable starts and then he gets it rolling. He had 4 homers the other night. But at the end of the day, I don't want to give up those 2 top prospects. I give up anybody else. I'm not giving up those 2 guys. I mean, no, those guys, I think, and I hate to put this on young kids, but these 2 guys are going to be real cornerstone guys of this franchise. I really believe that. I love Salas behind the plate, left-hand hitting catcher. Gotta love that. The Vries is so young. I don't know if he'll make it as a shortstop. He may make it as a center fielder. And you say, well, what about Jackson Merrill? Well, you got Fernando, you got Jackson Merrill locked up long term. DeVries, maybe he ends up playing left field. We'll wait and see how he develops. I mean, playing shortstop is not easy, but we'll see where it goes. The kid's very, very young, but we'll continue to watch and see who becomes available as we get closer to the trading deadline. But I don't see AJ doing anything right now. I think he's going to wait until he gets some of these guys back on the field that are on the IL right now. But thank you very much. Appreciate that. Vasquez needs to go to AAA. I don't agree with that. His ERA now has climbed over 4. I'm not sending him to AAA. I mean, who are you going to throw in the rotation? I mean, Kyle Hart's coming back at some point in time. You're going to get Darvish back. Once you get Darvish back and Kyle Hart comes back and can pitch well on the road, maybe Vasquez, maybe he ends up in AAA. But right now, you can't afford to send him to AAA. And he hadn't been that bad. I mean, he wasn't awful yesterday. I mean, his numbers weren't great, but he wasn't awful yesterday. And he had that start prior where he wasn't real good. But Randy, I think he's hanging in there. Hopefully his next start will be a lot better than yesterday. But yesterday, 4 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, couple of walks, a hit batter. That's the one thing that bugs me about him. Is there few too many walks? Pound the strike zone, get ahead in the count, and trust your defense. You can't defense a walk. Make guys swing the bat. Challenge him a little bit more. His stuff's good enough to challenge guys if he hits his spots. But I don't think right now he needs to go to AAA. Maybe at some point in time, Darvish comes back, Kyle Hart comes back. Maybe Stephen Kolek gets on track down in AAA. That could be a possibility, but right now I don't think the Padres have that luxury of moving him out and moving somebody else in. We'll see where it goes. But thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, David, hey, Coach, when is Luis Vries coming back? Isn't it been 7 days since the concussion? Okay, with that, I might as well give you the list. We'll get back to more questions here in a minute. Okay, Luis Vries, over the week, he made great progress. Friday, he was starting to feel a little bit better. He started doing some baseball activity. Yesterday, Sunday, he hit on the field, took ground balls, worked out at first base. If everything goes, now remember, he's in concussion protocol and he has to be cleared, but it sounds like he probably will be activated prior to Tuesday night's game, tomorrow night. He should be activated. And Jason Hayward, who had that left knee inflammation, he's also eligible to come off, and he worked out yesterday, swinging the bat, taking some fly balls, doing some running. He should come off tomorrow. So Padres tomorrow are probably going to have to make a couple of roster moves. Also, Jackson Merrill and Brandon Lockridge. Merrill down, retroactive to April 7th with that right hamstring. Lockridge on the IL with a left hamstring. Guys did a lot of work over the weekend, a lot of work yesterday. In fact, Jackson Merrill was supposed to yesterday sign, he was supposed to be at a baseball card shop signing autographs, and that got canceled. He worked out here yesterday. Took live BP, took some fly balls, did some running along with Lockridge. They're in Peoria today, supposed to be hitting over in Peoria, so they're getting close. And maybe Merrill and Lockridge, maybe Merrill especially, maybe on the next road trip. Maybe they'll be ready to roll later in the week. We'll have to wait and see on that. Cronenworth, right rib fracture. He could be heading out to Arizona today. I don't know if he's swung the bat yet. He's been throwing, doing some running, doing some light defensive work. I'm not sure he's swung the bat yet, but he's supposed to be heading to Arizona either today, tomorrow, or Wednesday to continue to work out over there. And Logan Gillespie over the weekend got one out the other night and had to come out of the ball game. He ended up placed on the 15-day IL yesterday with a left oblique strain, so he's going to be out a while. And with that, the Padres had to dip all the way down to Double-A to bring up 25-year-old right-hander David Morgan. He was promoted from Double-A when his contract was selected. 7 games this year, Morgan. With San Antonio, no record, a 3.12 ERA in 8 2/3 innings, but a power guy, 19 punchouts in 8 2/3. I had one save and doesn't walk guys. Had one walk and then he had another intentional base on ball. So good job there. But hopefully tomorrow the Padres will get back a Rise and Jason Hayward. The way things were trending on Sunday, it looks like they'll probably be ready to roll. And then the Padres will have to make a couple of roster moves. So there you have it. Okay, we got any more questions? Look at some more questions. I love these questions you fans roll in. Okay, when do we learn if Miles Bird stays and doesn't go pro? Um, I I don't know. Didn't he pull out? I thought he pulled out. And I thought it was interesting. Magoon Gwath last week made a big deal on how he was pulling out of the NBA draft and he was coming back to San Diego. And then the following day, we find out he had knee surgery. I mean, why didn't he say that to begin with? Hey, I pulled out, I had some knee surgery, and I'm going to be back with the Aztecs. I'm looking forward to my next season. But yeah, he kind of kept that under wraps. And then the story got out. He had knee surgery, and hopefully he'll be ready for the start of the season. But I can tell you right now, Miles Bird may go through everything with the NBA, and that's fine because he'll play against good competition. He'll find out what he needs to work on. He'll find out what the NBA thinks of him. I can tell you right now, he's a very, very talented athlete, but he's not a great basketball player right now, in my opinion. I think he's got to rework his shot a little bit. I think there are a lot of guys like Miles Bird in the NBA that are a lot bigger and stronger, and I can't see him coming out. He needs to get in the weight room. He needs to get stronger, and he needs to rework that shot a little bit. He can play defense, but he's going to be going against bigger and stronger guys in the NBA. I can tell you that. Not going to be easy. But he should come back. If everybody comes back, San Diego State's going to be dynamite next year. Absolute dynamite. And we'll keep our eye on them. Always enjoy watching Aztec basketball. Coach Dutcher, Coach Velasquez, that staff, they do a hell of a job. You can tell one thing about Brian Dutcher, guys are loyal to him. Players are loyal to him. Coaches are loyal to him. You don't see too many coaches leave unless they're getting a head coaching job. Very seldom do you ever see a coach leave San Diego State as an assistant to take another assistant's job somewhere. Very seldom does that happen. Head coaching job, we saw Chris Acker get the job a year ago at Long Beach State. Had a rough first year. Sure, it'll do better in year 2, but they're very loyal to Brian Dutcher. Okay, what else we got here today? Omar Cruz went 4 innings yesterday and has been really good in El Paso. Potential starting pitcher call-up. Well, if he's going 4 innings, that tells me they're trying to stretch him out. I told you, Omar Cruz, the left-hander, 26 years of age, I'm a big fan of. I know he got sent down, but maybe there was a reason he got sent down. Number one, he had an option, and they were able to open up another spot to bring a pitcher up. But Omar Cruz, very good. I'm high on him, and we'll see if he maybe does get a call up here pretty quick. I'd have no problem him coming up, and he's going to struggle. He's a young guy at the big league level. Everybody's going to struggle when you get called up, but I like Omar Cruz a great deal. But thanks for bringing him up because that kind of puts a smile on my face. I love good left-handed pitchers, so thank you very much for that. That's good stuff. Okay, I might as well be one of the guys that talks about Shedeur Sanders. Goes in the 5th round, 144th to the Cleveland Browns. I love the draft. And I think most of you have followed me for years, know that I love the draft. I did draft shows for about 25 years with Lee Hamilton, Chet Forty, Bill Werndell, Tom Bass, Dick Corey, guys that had coached in the National Football League. Shedeur Sanders, people were losing their mind because he didn't go in the 1st round. I know he was rated pretty high. He was rated by even Ourlad's draft guide that is like a Bible to me. They had him as the 2nd-ranked quarterback behind Cam Ward. There has to be a reason why he didn't go until the 5th round. We may never know. There are a lot of conjecture out there that he didn't do well in his personal meetings, and when they tell you to go to the chalkboard and diagram a play, he didn't do well. He was very arrogant. There's talk about his dad said, well, he's not going to play for this organization or that organization. I don't know everything. You hear a lot of hearsay. I can tell you this. I think the kid was an incredible college quarterback. And he and Travis Hunter and Dion, they changed the complexion of Colorado football. And it was a great story. And Shedeur Sanders' numbers were great. He threw for 37 touchdown passes a year ago. That's a Colorado record there in Boulder. He's undersized, not a big, strong, physical guy. He's a decent athlete, not a great athlete. Moves pretty well, feels pressure, and believe me, he felt a lot of pressure, especially that first year in 2023. That offensive line, it was non-existent. He was running for his life. Last year was a little bit better. They never really, in the 2 years he was there, did they have a running game. The kid's worthy of playing in the National Football League. But I'm going to tell you something. Whether they liked him or they liked Dion, I don't care. When you're making drafts, you're looking at mental makeup. You're looking at where that athlete is at the current time and where do you see him? What is your vision for him? And that's what talent evaluators do. Where's this kid now and where do you see him in 2 to 3 years with development? Guy was a 4-year starter. 2 years at Jackson State, 2 years at Colorado. Put up great numbers. Everywhere he was, he put up nice numbers. But there's a reason they didn't take him. And I will tell you this. I don't know what Cleveland was thinking. Dylan Gabriel, left-handed quarterback from Oregon, who's been around about 3 different schools. They took him in the draft, and then they took Shedeur Sanders. They got 5 quarterbacks in Cleveland now. And we've talked about organizations. We talked about Cleveland on Friday. Not a great organization. They made a lot of mistakes. I mean, their quarterback room now has Deshaun Watson, if you can get him out of the massage parlor. You've got Kenny Pickett, who's on his 3rd team. Started with Pittsburgh, was with Philadelphia, now with Cleveland. You got the ageless wonder in Joe Flacco, who probably is going to be the starting quarterback, I would think. And then you got Dylan Gabriel, who's an older college player, about, 25, 26, left-handed thrower. And then you got Shedeur Sanders. And Mel Kiper lost his mind over the weekend. Louis Riddick lost his mind. A lot of these guys lost their mind. Stephen A. Smith, he loses his mind about 3 days a week. But these guys were like taking it as a personal insult that Shedeur Sanders didn't get drafted in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and until the 5th round, the 144th pick. And I'm going to tell you, I love watching the draft coverage on ESPN. I love watching it. And I enjoyed it this year. But they really took away from a lot of great athletes that were getting drafted because they kept arguing the same old tired points about Shedeur Sanders and why he wasn't going. Hey, make your point, move on. Let's talk about the athletes that are getting drafted. I can't tell you how many guys, even in the first round that were getting drafted, and they were getting overlooked by the guys on the set because they were talking about Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders was talked about more than any fifth round pick in the history of the National Football League to this point. And it may be like that forever. I mean, they went everywhere. You go on X, and I listened to everybody about Shedeur Sanders. I went through X on Saturday night with a fine tooth comb and wanted to hear what everybody had to say. The kid's worthy of being drafted in the NFL, and he's worthy of getting an opportunity to be a quarterback in the NFL. Whether or not he'll ever be a starter, I don't know. I certainly think he can be a backup, but something went wrong. And I can tell you a couple of things. Number one, he didn't throw at the combine, didn't work out, and didn't work out at the, didn't go to the Senior Bowl. And people in personnel, they want guys that are hungry and don't want to feel like they're drafting guys that feel entitled. I wish Shedeur Sanders the best of luck. I'm sure he's a great young man. I heard he got a 3.9 GPA at Colorado. That's great. I wish him the best of luck. There was even talk the other day that he was going to try to go back to college, probably make more money if he went back to Colorado next year, and he's going to make his first year in the National Football League. But he's getting an opportunity that a lot of other guys don't get. And I know the expectations were that he was going to be one of the top 3 or 4 or 5 guys taken in the draft. It didn't work out. Obviously, there was something that teams didn't like. But I got to tell you this. Teams are not going to bypass a player if they think that player can help their organization. And a lot of teams didn't feel that Shedeur Sanders can help their organization at this point in time, or they're very happy with what they got in their quarterback room. And I'm not going to sit here and blast this kid. I'm not going to do that. But maybe he didn't carry himself the way he should have. And that's why he ended up falling as far as he did in the draft. Now, he should have a chip on his shoulder, and he should come out and do everything. He should be the first guy to the complex and the last guy to leave. He should be picking the brain of the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach. He got to become a sponge. And he got to make everybody look bad. That's how you have to take. You can't sit around and grouse and complain, oh, man, I didn't go into the 5th round. Screw those guys. Well, you do have to say that to a degree. If you're a real competitor, you're going to have that chip on your shoulder, and you're going to be right there, ready to roll. You can't hold out. You're going to get your contract. Get in there and start digesting that playbook. That's what I have to say. Why it happened, I don't know. We're never really going to know fully. I know he apparently didn't interview well. He came in with an arrogant attitude. Didn't do well when they told him to go to the board with the New York Football Giants. Didn't look like he was prepared at all. And that gets around. But now he's got an opportunity. He's on a team in the National Football League. Go in there and work and earn your spot and make everybody look bad. Make everybody say, man, we really made a mistake on this kid. This kid's a guy that really loves football and wants to be great at it. That's what I think you need to do. Give me your opinions on that. I'd like write in your opinions on your thoughts on Shedeur Sanders, and we'll get to those questions on Wednesday's show. Okay, we're going to get out of here. And again, Padres, big series, 2-game series against the Giants. Great matchup Tuesday night. And again, if you can get me that Tony Gwynn rookie bobblehead, I really appreciate it, man. I really want one of those bad. I don't want to call any favors down to the Padres. Hey, can you send me a bobblehead? But if you can get me one, I'd appreciate it. Again, please subscribe, like, and send your questions. Again, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, great matchup. Logan Webb, the right-hander, sinker baller for the Giants going against Padres' Nick Pivetta. That's going to be a good one. Then Landon Roop, a right-hander on Wednesday afternoon going against Padre right-hander Michael King. And until Wednesday, it's Coach John Kentera again. Please subscribe, please like, and please send your questions in. Thanks so much for the time today. Hope you get off to a good start to your week. Bye-bye.